broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are at the AfterBuzz TV studios giving you everything American Horror Story. I am your host for the evening, David Schifilliti, joined as always by the lovely and talented Sarah Huggins,
Hi.
Alana Jordan,
Hello.
and Pegah Rad.
Hi, everyone.
Tonight we are discussing episode 12, season 5, titled Be Our Guest. And it is the finale, you guys.
It's done.
Tonight,
It's over.
it's over. That's it. Wrap it up.
General thoughts?
Stick a fork in it.
General thoughts?
She's done.
I could have done without it.
Yeah.
I could have done without the whole episode.
I feel like this episode was less of a finale and more of an epilogue. Like if it were a book,
Totally.
Yeah.
like that would be the epilogue of like, oh, in
And this is what happened in the
2022,
future.
this is what happens. And it would be like 2 pages in that book. But instead, it was an
like
hour
the-
and 10-minute finale.
Like the last, 15 minutes in the, spoiler alert, Hunger Games movie, which is the epilogue of the book.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, serious.
Well, I didn't tell you what happened, but
Yeah,
that's
he
what
just
happened
said
in
you
the
allocate
epilogue.
15 minutes to that.
Yeah, it
Right.
was
So,
like the
yeah.
last 15 minutes of the movie was the epilogue of the book.
Agreed. Okay, I kind of retract. The part with Liz.
You don't
just
have to
the part
retract.
With Liz, I loved.
Okay.
I almost cried. I got
I
tears.
agree.
Agreed.
With Tristan and him with his new grandchild and just
Yeah.
everything about what happened with him I loved. But everything else was pointless for me.
It was a beautiful ending to the season.
We didn't need it.
But we didn't necessarily need it. It's the first time, I feel like, in the history of American Horror Story that we've seen a flash forward.
But I liked that it did have kind of the opposite of what we normally find with American Horror Story,
Yeah.
where it ends and you go, okay, we need one more episode. We need something to wrap it up. Whereas this one, I feel like last week kind of wrapped everything up, and then this was just like, oh. And if
What
you had any
happens after?
last-minute questions about any of these other characters, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a nice episode
It was
to end the season. And just so you guys know, Elena is on the chat roll again
Yes.
tonight. So if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and ask, and we will get to them hastily.
Boobies, James B.
Yes, Boobies James B.
There's 2 different people, Boobies and James B. Both agree
Give it to me.
that everything about Liz's story arc was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think just the season in general, everything that surrounded him was just golden. It was,
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
So good.
Such a good character, such a good way to wrap up that character's story arc and life.
I
And
love too that Liz got to be the face of Will Drake's line
I
and
thought that was
finally got to be
phenom.
like, "What up, world? I'm amazing. You're welcome."
HBIC.
I feel like though they gave a lot of closure to people that I didn't really need. Like I didn't really need
Like
closure
who?
with Will.
Okay. I didn't either, but I feel like
know?
that storyline, Will's storyline, since it was intertwined with Liz's, was more centered on Liz, and we weren't really getting closure
Yeah.
on Will.
Because Will was
very
more
true.
like, "Oh, your business is failing.
Yeah.
Here, let me help you a little bit, but also you're still dead."
Yeah, I mean, it was more centered around Liz. Yes, we got to see like a little bit more of what happened to Will, but we still didn't really see what was going to happen to his business now that Liz is dead.
It's true.
But we did get to see Liz reunite with Tristan, and that's all I
It was
care about.
beautiful. It was so beautiful.
It seemed kind of sad at first. It seemed like it was going to be an unhappy ending.
Yeah, like
the two
Tristan
of
was
them.
just being like
You
a
had
little
more
dead
life to
jerk,
live.
but instead.
It was sweet.
But I'm still like, yeah, that's one thing to be like, darling, you had more life to live, and I couldn't get in the way of that. But maybe that could be your message instead of just, no, I'm
Exactly.
good.
No.
Like, live your life. Any
Well-
sort of message instead of just like, I'm good. I'm kind of busy. I'm playing like dead craps with the other ghosts.
Let me pose this question to you guys then. If you were able to contact someone in your life, a loved one that had passed, and they told you, oh, don't worry, I'm fine. Go live your life as you see fit. I'll wait for you for when you pass. Do you think you would really live your life to the fullest knowing that they were waiting for you?
I think I would appreciate it a lot more than, do you have a message? Nah.
I'm good.
Nah, dog. I'm all right.
No.
Okay. I see that. I see that.
It was cold.
It was a little cold,
Yeah.
but I get where the intention was coming from.
Yeah, see, I got that for Jordan K 95. I thought that too. That was Donovan saying, like, that was Donovan talking mostly through Billy.
But Donovan was the one who actually had a message for Iris to be like, it smells like pancakes and you let me watch cartoons on Saturday. And I love you, Mom. Even though I was a horrible child
true.
and destroyed your life. And now you're a vampire.
And it's always Saturday here. I was like, oh.
That's true.
It was really cute.
It was cute.
But she was asking, but the thing is he did have a message, but not for Liz. And she was asking for Liz.
Yeah,
And that's why, like, you could take it two ways.
That's true. You
Yeah.
could take it that Donovan was saying,
Saying
no,
no.
it's not for Liz, it's for Iris.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of like when I watched it, that's what I thought. And then he took it, like, yeah, that way.
But I feel like if you're Liz and the love of your life is like, I don't want to talk to you. And then the medium is like, who's Donovan? Donovan sure is a chatty Cathy about how much he loves the people in his life.
Yeah, I'd be like, wait a
I'd
minute.
be like, are you kidding me? Donovan was a jerk. Like,
Yeah.
Tristan,
did
step up
like
your
that.
game, buddy.
I don't know why
I like the way he came back.
I started tearing up when it was like
too.
every day
Yeah.
is Saturday here or whatever. I was like, oh, I want every day to be Saturday morning. For me too.
Cartoons and pancakes.
Saturday morning as a child or Saturday morning now as an adult?
I don't know.
As a child.
Depends on what's included.
Oh, okay. We won't get into that then.
True. Oh.
But I really loved, despite the fact that the episode was, unnecessary as a whole, I loved how they wrapped up the storyline of the hotel, and Liz and Iris took over, and they took all of the Countess's art and they sold it, and they reinvented the hotel and sort of breathed new life into it. I thought that was really
and I
fantastic.
like rebirth theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even had that little nod where they're like, what's that smell? And they're like, sage. So it's
Yeah.
the smudge stick that you use
Yeah.
to like cleanse bad spirits, which I thought was the ultimate irony because then they
The
have a
bad spirits
meeting
are
with
definitely
all...
not leaving.
Yeah, they know. Like you can rub sage in every corner. They're still gonna walk out and be like, "Hey, you want some heroin?"
Yeah.
So,
I am a little
You
bit
want
sad
some?
that we didn't get the epic ending to the Hotel Cortez that we anticipated
That
last
it wasn't
week.
burned to
Yeah.
the ground.
Yeah, that there wasn't. Like, I still feel like that place, I don't have closure with the place.
the hotel itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But
But I guess you didn't get it from Murder House either, really.
No.
Murder House is gonna continue being
Murder House lives on.
murderous.
I think they're just going to try to get their 4-star reviews, continuously try to work on it as a team, as, I don't know.
Speaking of Murder House, Billie Dean Howard returns from
Yes.
season 1.
She looks
Looking
so gorgeous.
fierce.
So good.
Yes.
And she's sort of the one who gets people back to the hotel.
But
Oddly
not
enough.
the people they want.
Not the people that they
Right.
want.
They bring in weirdos.
It's sort of like a simile of what happened on True Blood with the True Blood chasers or whatever they call them. I do not
True
remember.
Blood Chaser. Definitely
Yeah,
was
I
not
don't
that.
watch
It definitely wasn't that. It was the people, the humans that were like who chase vampire blood or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't remember what they were
I
called.
don't remember what it was called either. It's similar, people. It's a theme that happens in real life. Even people that seek out paranormal and want to be part of the paranormal world, or
Right.
Immersed with the macabre.
yes, if you will.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah,
John,
yeah.
he shows up on the 30th for Devil's Night.
Yeah.
Where does he go for the other 364 days?
I think they just don't exist in
limbo,
the world.
yeah.
Okay.
Like
They
the
only
others.
can come back on Devil's Night.
Okay.
And
so
they
he's
can
not
only
like
come
chilling
back
in
to the
like
hotel.
hell.
Which I did
might
think
be.
was ironic too, that, you know, all he wanted to do was live forever in the hotel, and instead he gets shot right outside of it.
He's, like,
and just
trying to
crawling.
Desperately trying.
It's like the opposite of Donovan, where he's like, please don't let me die in there.
I mean, I thought it was sort of a sad end to John. The fact that he thinks that he failed his family and he dies outside of the hotel and then can't spend eternity with his family.
But he was also real murdery, so I don't feel that bad for him.
Was super murdery, and I get that. But at the end of the day, he was, you know, still trying to take care
a
of his
family man.
family.
But he gets one night a year, and we also get to see Scarlett, you know,
Live on her life. She's grown up.
and still has to come back once a year to be like, what up? Messed up family reunion.
Yeah, she's like, I'm good. I don't want to sleep in bed with you guys. And
Yeah, I'm grown now.
yeah.
I think after all John did, he still has it pretty good. He gets to come back one time every year, you know?
Only for
Yeah.
a few
be
hours,
worse.
though.
Yeah, but like, it's better than nothing.
That's true.
That murderous.
I do think, though, you know, we see that he apparently goes to the serial killer dinner every year, and it's like, you have 1 year with your, I mean, one night a year with your family. Like, maybe skip dinner and hang out with.
I don't know if he can skip dinner.
That's like
I think
why
that's part
he
of the
gets to
deal.
come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is part of the deal, that they are allowed to come back for a few hours. They get to live out their murderous habits for one more night every year, but they have to go to the dinner. And then a couple hours afterwards, they can do whatever the hell they want to do.
And then everybody's sleeping. His family.
I know.
I was
It was
gonna
cute,
say.
though. I thought it was really sweet that, you know, after they do whatever they do, and tonight they threatened Billy Dean, and they were like, no more specials, no more poking around our lives. Just leave us alone, and we won't kill you.
Leave Brittany alone.
It was kind of interesting though
Thank you,
how
Chris.
they brought. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the tie-ins, all the season tie-ins that they now try to do. I don't feel
Okay.
like they used to do that, you know,
No.
at all. And now I feel like they like have to tie them all in. And I felt like just having her, if Billy Dean had come in last episode, and we had like been introduced to her again that episode, and then she was also in this one, I would be like, okay, cool. But it's like, they brought her back in this episode, reintroduced another person
Yep.
that we're like supposed to care if she lives or dies, and they put a lot of weight on her this whole episode, which I was like, really? It's like we got a lot of other people like we're already caring about, so I really didn't care if they killed her or not. I mean, I knew.
I didn't really care either.
Right.
I also thought it was weird, kind of going off of that they didn't show Queenie at all. Like, if you're
Right.
gonna introduce a character and have like a whole episode, like Queenie died in the hotel too, so why isn't she coming back as a dead ghost witch, like wreaking havoc on everything? That would have been interesting.
Well, she's got Empire to do, girl.
That's
Maybe
true.
that's
but don't bring her in if she's too busy to be on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But maybe because she's a witch, it like works differently.
I don't
Maybe
know,
she
but
exists on a different plane.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
threw mention at like Darren Chris's character, like the influencers. Remember they mentioned them. They're like, oh god, at least it's not the hipster couple or whatever. So they were still around somewhere, and we didn't see them. And there's
But
a
they
bunch
at least
of them.
mentioned it. You
Yeah,
know?
that's
Like,
true.
nobody was like, also that damn dead witch. Like,
Right.
there's not like one line, anything.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just seemed like it kind of was like, hey, don't forget, our other seasons are on Netflix. Like, what? You know? Like, it
Right.
just seemed like it was kind of like a little advertisement for previous season. It's like, well, let's just focus on
Or
this one.
The best season, actually.
Or maybe it's a precursor to what's coming in seasons to come.
No, it's not.
Then Sarah shuts that
I
down
know.
before the sentence is done.
It's just
Thanks a lot,
not. It's
Sarah.
just not. I mean, last season when they threw in, what was the big tie-in? I hated that episode. The
Top Hats?
the mental patient. What was her name?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm completely
Pepper.
blanking.
Pepper.
The whole Pepper tie-in. I mean, that didn't mean anything this season. Like, no, they just throw them in to like. I think it started out as making sense, and now I feel like it's just
Now
not.
they're just like, here's our mandatory callback.
It's like, I'm okay.
Insert
Yeah,
here.
I'm okay with them not all being connected. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think Jonathan in the
okay.
chat has a good point. He said, "Is it just me, or did anybody else want Emma Roberts to play older Scarlet?"
That would have been.
Which it's like,
Oh, that would have been
that would have been
amazing.
really. That would have been a really good.
That is a big missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But she's
That would've
doing
been really
Scream
good.
Queens.
I know, but still, she's
Scream
available.
Queens is
Yeah,
rad.
that's true. That's true. Fine.
It's the same showrunner, right?
Yeah, it's not like Ryan Murphy would be like, "Oh, I double booked you. You better go talk to your other showrunner."
Yeah. Who cares?
Story.
That was like a couple lines.
Sally's storyline was really beautiful. I loved
Really?
it.
That's
You had
the
problems
word?
with it? Did you really have
I
problems with it?
had huge problems with it
Oh my
because
God.
the moral of her story is do a bunch of drugs,
Yeah.
then take artsy pictures of your drugs next to your lipstick on
Duh.
Instagram, never have any real connection with any other human being, and as long as you get a lot of likes, then it's like, don't go to rehab, just join Instagram, and all of your problems will be solved.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's
a point.
advocate. You do have a point, but I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Untrue.
And if Ryan Murphy is sort of putting a lens on society, right? And the things and the people that we idolize and the people that we send our likes to and are like, oh, look how beautiful you are. Look how much plastic surgery you've had. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but like, there are those Instagram people that have like 1.7 million followers. And like,
Yeah.
what are they taking pictures
I
of? They're
think-
taking pictures of their waist trainers and they're taking pictures of their fake lips and their fake butts and like their,
But I
it's
think
kind of the same
also being
thing.
like, oh, once you have a bunch of Twitter likes, then you'll throw your heroin out the window. I'm like, no, you should probably
Yes,
not
I mean-
just be like,
Yes, but she's sort of replaced her one addiction with another.
right.
And
I thought it was really cute and fun.
I thought it was cute and fun, and
Yeah.
I really just liked the way that it changed the character, and that's why I call it beautiful. I'm not saying that anyone should go out and look for validation on the internet,
I just
but a
feel
lot
like
of people do.
because they've done such a good job up to this point about showing like that mirror of the image of Hollywood and the image of all of these different things and what is aging, what is it to be a woman in this society, and what is it, all of these things that I think they do perfect parallels to, and then they get to this one that's the social media aspect, and it's, well, if you're a ghost trapped in 1994 who does a lot of drugs, you'll like Twitter. Like, it just seemed like it was a missed opportunity that they could have fleshed it out more.
I mean,
And-
I did like the whole thing of like, you never have to be alone, like you're not alone.
That's why I
and-
liked it. It was just
Yeah.
a way of her to connect with people that she wouldn't have ever had the opportunity to be able to connect with this way or in any way before.
Yeah.
I get it. And it did make her go from really negative and bitchy to like a positive person, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was tolerable.
Yeah. Well, she had said before that her whole thing was that the only time she felt good was dragging other people down so that they could feel a little bit of her pain. And then, she gets the emo hashtag trending where
I
it's
know.
just like,
it's very trite the way that it
I
happens.
hate everything. Like, are you okay? Aw. And I'm like, don't promote that. That's not like a thing that people should do.
But it is but that is what people do.
It is.
It's not what people should do, but it is what people do. I mean, there are definitely people that will tweet just about anything and people will be like, it'll be like 1 million likes,
But it seemed like her redemption for being toxic in the afterlife was being toxic on the internet. And they're like, isn't that so much better? Like, no, how about
it's
just
the
don't be a
same.
bitch at all?
It's the same. I think there's like a good irony in that though, because
I
like
mean,
it
maybe
is the same. It's a different.
Ryan Murphy is paralleling her addiction to heroin and drugs and negativity and depression and stuff like that to everything that does happen on the internet and
Right.
the way that people promote themselves and show the world themselves through this filter of the internet.
Right.
So if you're sad about your murderous married boyfriend leaving you, just tweet about it,
about
and then
it.
it's fine.
Duh.
But if you don't get a bunch of likes, then just keep your needles. Like, what?
She found a new purpose.
Yeah.
I think that's what the her throwing away the needle was.
I just wish they would have also given some closure to what the hell the addiction demon is, and
They really didn't. And
if
I
she
actually
threw
would
it out
love
the
that as
window,
well.
could we at least have like a little flash of like, oh, and now that killed him?
But it seems like
Or
from
something.
tonight's
Something.
episode, March was in control of the addiction demon.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he always has been.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought it was somehow connected to Sally, but it wasn't at all, ever.
I mean, I just knew, like, I knew that wasn't that big of a deal.
No, it wasn't.
Like, that's why I didn't pay much focus to it. I know, like, I feel like you really wanted some closure there. I just knew they weren't ever going to give it to us. Like, I knew that it was just
I
kind of
just
like...
feel like if they were gonna do the scene where she
small.
throws all of her drugs out anyway, just give a flash of the demon and have him fade. Like, oh,
Bye,
she's
demon.
broken it, and now it's done.
Something.
she's
To say
released
goodbye.
from her demons, literally. Instead, they were just like, oh, remember how awful it is when I let him do whatever he wants? Don't piss me off, Sally. And then it's like, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there is a purpose to everything. March wants the hotel to reach 100 years so that it can become a historical landmark, so that they can all continue to live on forever.
Do you think it'll get there?
Live in quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 14 years away in their world? Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah, I would think so. Considering they're having like big fashion shows there and
And
huge
people are
events
coming to
and
like
stuff.
have sex with the ghosts.
Yeah.
I think that was alluded to at one
crazy.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was super weird. Like, I was like, when did Woo become like this, like,
Sex
ghost
symbol?
sex symbol?
Yeah.
When did that
both the
character
Swedish
get a name?
girls- Yeah, I was like, I thought he was just random guy from like episode 6 that they were like, oh, he died very quickly and had 2 lines, and now they're like, oh yeah, let's go to the ghost. The hottest ghost is in this room.
Oh my gosh.
I have to be in room 44. It's like, what?
I felt like I know a lot
Meh.
of people in the chat want us to talk about our next season predictions. They keep asking, but
Wow.
we
We'll
can
get to
talk.
it.
Yeah, we will get to it. I was gonna say I have a little request for next season,
Which
perhaps,
is?
and it kind of goes off that ghost thing that you were talking about. I want half the people, half the cast.
Yeah, and have everybody maybe just play one role and not have like the same person
Multiples.
play
Double
3
roles.
roles.
Right. And it's like they're all so talented. It's fantastic. But I feel like because I was thinking about Murder House in this season and how they were alike and how they were different. And I think it's like, yes, there were flashbacks in Murder House, and we did see some characters, but that most of which we never saw again. You know, like there was like a core group of ghosts and like people that we saw and dealt with, and it was manageable. And now it's just to the point where, yeah, like Woo didn't need to make a call back. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
give us someone,
And
a
Woo's
ghost
hooking
to
up with
someone.
a Swedish girl?
Right.
Like,
I could have
what?
never seen them again and been fine. And it's like, oh, we were supposed to still care about them? What? You know, it's gotten a little bit out of hand with the amount of people, and it started last season. I started
Yes, it
having the
did.
problem last season where they just kept adding people.
Although last season had a lot more than this season had.
I beg to differ.
Well,
This season had a lot. It
lot
was
of
just
people.
like
It did have a lot of characters.
And a
Yeah.
lot of big personalities. So I feel like you just didn't need, you didn't need all of it. So
I think exactly what you're saying, how the first season there was a clear, you knew this was the protagonist. It was this family.
Yeah.
Connie
Right.
Britt's character, that is who you followed. You saw things from
Right.
her perspective.
Right.
We followed her throughout. This season, it was now you see the Countess perspective, and now you see John's perspective, and now you see Liz's. And it's like, okay, so who is our main character? Who are we focused on?
I mean,
And just saying,
it
it's
should have
all
been
of
Liz.
them. It's the hotel. That's a little bit too broad.
It was a little broad. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the hotel was the main character.
But that's too
But I
broad.
feel
it
like
is
too
that's
broad, yeah.
it's just such a cliche. It's like when people set something in New York and they go, "It's like New York is a character in the story," and
Thank
then
you,
people are
Sex
like,
and
"All
the
right,
City."
come on."
Yeah, I was about to say that.
It's everything that's
It is
like
everything,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one, John started to be the main character, and then when they realized the audience didn't really care about that character,
They switched to the Countess.
then they switched to the Countess. And then when they saw everybody was more invested in Liz, then they were like, "Oh, let's bring Liz in more."
Right.
I feel like even Ethel got or Hazel got more things thrown in because
People
just
liked
fans
the
liked
character.
it.
How sad were you that you didn't get your big Hazel closure tonight.
I feel like I got some Hazel closure
Okay.
last week
'Cause you really
because
wanted
that was
more,
her
though.
whole big thing. Was like, I mean, we still see her. She's still happy, and now she's
Hanging.
not
obsessive.
you know,
March,
yeah.
isn't it?
I wish she would have moved
clinging
on.
on Mark.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think for me, Liz was the main character throughout.
Really? Because at the
Yeah.
beginning of the season, she was so few and
Secondary.
far between. I mean,
Yeah.
we barely even heard from her.
I feel like they switched it halfway through the season. Like
Well,
they were
John,
just like,
it seemed like John was the main at first, and then he
Totally
wasn't.
was.
I mean, he was kind of ish. That's what I mean. It's like you could argue that the Countess was the main person, but then, you know, we barely saw her in this episode. So
I
it
mean,
was
speaking
like,
of things that we never got to find out,
the Countess.
the Countess.
Why is she called the Countess? They never explained that at all.
That's a good point.
They just never. I was like, oh, what's her cool backstory? They're gonna flash to and explain why she's called the Countess. And now I just assume that she just started calling herself that, and made
and
other
people just
call her
caught
that,
on?
which makes her very lame.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like a stage name back then for her.
right,
that
kind of like
she-
Gaga.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, she never had a real name for us, right? She never had a name
was no
other than
real-
the Countess.
Did really?
Elizabeth.
Oh, she did have a real name?
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember
Yeah.
that. It happened in that one episode, and I don't remember it.
Oh yeah,
sure, Elizabeth.
Gaga's baby. We never got closure with the Countess's
Yeah. Bartholomew is just like
demon
chilling in his
son.
room.
Good point, Michael.
I mean, there's so many other characters that were
Yeah.
I feel
introduced.
like she's killed it. She's been awesome, and I didn't feel that way. But this season I did. I was like, ugh, what? Like,
Why was she
Yeah,
even
I
in the
wanted
season?
She was there basically just to be a loose way to tie up loose ends. Like
Yeah.
it was like, oh, there's a bunch of murderous kids. Well, Ramona
eat
ate them.
Yeah.
Now she's not feeling too well, so she eats this character too. And nobody can leave the hotel to tell Billy Dean to stop. So Ramona, step in one last time and say something sassy, scare her
Yeah.
out. The end.
We need an interesting model for Will Drake's show. Ramona.
Oh my God, that dress though.
That
like
was
no
beautiful.
one's gonna be like, oh, that looks like that actress from the 70s or whenever she was popular. I don't
Well,
know.
nobody's gonna be like on Twitter, like, oh, I want to find out more about Sally. Oh, she died in 1994. Interesting tidbit. Next, like,
Yeah.
retweet. Like,
I'm liking a ghost.
See, now.
how many of your Twitter or how many ghosts are you following on Twitter? That's the
Right.
question. You have no idea.
You do have no idea.
That's
the
scary.
bots.
What if like you were a ghost?
I am.
What?
It just
if?
made me think of that really bad movie from the 90s that I downloaded a ghost. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
It's amazingly bad. And
I
it,
never heard of
Yes.
this movie.
I downloaded a ghost. Look it up. Don't. It's not
Done.
good.
Is
I
it
feel
on
like I'm not gonna
Netflix?
spoil it.
I don't
Probably.
know, but I know the other seasons of American Horror Story are.
Wink available on iTunes.
Holy smokes. That's pretty much our episode. Right?
I just made the weirdest
where we go.
face.
You're like,
And I feel like that was it. I mean, Iris didn't
What
get
did you
really
think
get
about
closure.
Liz's being killed scene when you find out that Liz has prostate cancer and then asks everybody
to kill
kill
her.
her?
I didn't want the Countess to kill her.
I mean, you knew
That
that.
was Iris to
I
do
didn't
it.
like that they let us know that at the beginning, that the Countess was gonna kill her. I didn't like that. I would have liked if they had at least surprised us with the Countess's entrance.
If we had seen some blood instead of the glove.
Right. So
For
you were
the-
like, oh, so I
because
was just waiting for her to
before-
come in.
Yeah.
In the opening scene of tonight's episode?
Yeah, you saw her do it with the glove.
Before
don't
the
remember
opening
seeing
credits. Yeah. With some
Oh.
like blood CGI blood spatter.
That I remember looking at and being like, that looks really fake. It was the first time I've ever said
It
that on
looked-
this
yeah.
on this entire series.
Well, it looked like it was
yeah.
about to start. I don't know if you guys watch iZombie, but
No.
it starts out with where they turn it into like a comic book.
okay.
And it felt like that's where they were going, where it felt like it was intentionally fake looking to then make everything like Art Deco and stencil outline, but they didn't go that way. They were just like, and here's the intro. Like, oh, so that was just bad CGI. That was not intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. But it's the first time in 5 seasons that I've ever seen something that looked fake to me.
And this season has been so great.
Yeah.
About all the effects have been amazing.
I thought it was supposed to be a little cheesy, though. I don't know. I was
Because
okay
it was
with
such
it.
a close up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mind it. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, that looks fake. I don't know.
I just noted it in my head and was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I was more concerned with the fact that I was like, oh, the Countess is going to kill her.
I was more concerned with the fact that Liz was dying. And I didn't
Yeah.
want her to die. But then finding out the reason behind it, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was actually okay with
I'm glad that
her-
Liz gets to live
Me
on.
too.
Right.
They need her.
Yeah.
She's like the backbone of the whole place.
Yeah.
And if Liz is gonna die, you know, to have it be her choice,
Right.
to have it be, this is how I want to die in the hotel, and know that I am always going to be a part of it, and you guys are my family.
Yeah.
That was really touching. That was
I
really
know.
sweet.
Touching.
I got
That
a
was
little
cute.
misty-eyed.
Yeah. I really liked that. And I liked when the Countess came in and said she wanted to be part of the
Of her final transition.
Yeah, I liked it.
Part of it, but
Very
like
cute.
not do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
want it
but
to be like
they
a
did it.
family effort.
Oh, you wanted them all to just brutally
not brutal,
go in
but
on
I
her?
don't know. I don't like her. I love her, Gaga, but I didn't like.
I mean, at least this way she didn't feel pain for very long. Right?
True.
Getting hacked to death by several people, I feel like would have been super painful.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, with all the death that they've seen in the hotel, she should have figured out the most painless way.
Right?
Right.
Instead of being like, hack me, bludgeon me,
Do
kill me
whatever
in the
you
most
want.
violent way
Surprise
possible.
me.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why would
it's
she
like,
want to
how
hurt
about
like that?
maybe I take some pills
and just
pass
go to
out, then I
sleep
wake
forever.
up and
Yeah,
I'm in the hotel again.
I agree.
But Michael Claridge says something like, "Are they on good terms?"
Ramona and
Ramona and
the
no,
Countess?
no.
or
Liz
Countess and the Liz.
yeah.
And
They
Liz.
are now.
Why? When did that ever happen? Did I miss that?
It happened right. I mean, I guess this was the Countess's way of making up with Liz.
Right.
but Michael was actually asking what happened between Ramona and Gaga.
Who the hell knows? Nobody knows.
We don't know. Remember, it
Which-
just blacked out, and
They were like, that's not important. Here's Billy Dean.
yeah. Here's someone else for you.
Something else that was never answered for
Yeah.
us.
So many questions.
So many questions that you'll never get, Pegah.
Answers.
Answers.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, that was basically our episode. All in all, it was a really fantastic season.
I thought it was good.
Gaga won.
Yes,
Yeah,
congratulations.
She won
to
the Golden Globe for
Gaga.
Best Actress.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Dennis O'Hare, though, if he does not get something,
If he doesn't get something, I swear, like,
That really
what
did
is going
surprise
on?
me.
come
I was
Emmy
like,
time,
how is...
I,
Because he's brilliant.
yeah.
so
In
good.
every episode.
He was phenomenal this entire season, and I don't see how he didn't win, like, Best Supporting.
Yeah, well, the thing is with the Golden Globes, like, it could be different come Emmy time.
Right, that's what I mean.
With the Golden Globes, it is the Hollywood Foreign Press, and I hate to say it, but, like, Lady Gaga is a giant music star.
Yes, she
and
is.
all over the
International.
world, internationally, and so the Hollywood Foreign Press, I feel like, kind of, you know, they
Well-
give certain people, they steer towards certain people, typically.
Right, which makes sense.
Of course.
Not to say that she doesn't deserve
Correct.
the award.
Oh,
because
she definitely did.
I agree.
She
But
killed it, but
Dennis also deserves something.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, at least a nomination. But it didn't surprise me that he didn't get one at the Golden Globes. But I think if he doesn't get one at the Emmys, it'll be,
That'll be a
Tragic.
huge upset.
Yeah.
yes.
I did feel bad that Gaga's win was somewhat overshadowed by the Leo reaction.
I have to say, this has nothing to do with American Horror Story. Well, kind of, because it has to do with Gaga and that entrance. Whoever's decision it was to seat Leo in the seat that he was placed, like, everyone was bumping into his chair all night
Yeah.
long. And so I thought
I think
that
it
that
has
was
more to
funny.
do with how far he had his seat placed.
Back.
Yes,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
they let you drink at the Golden Globes.
And less
That's
of
true.
of where he was sat, because people were trying to avoid him, which means he had his seat back pretty far.
Right.
Which was his choice.
And they were all crammed in there pretty.
They were crammed in there very
And he
tightly.
said that he wasn't making a face at her. He just genuinely was surprised that somebody was walking by. He didn't know that
Yeah.
she was
Well,
going to
yeah.
be behind him.
That's what I thought when I
But-
first watched it,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, I was like, oh, like, she just, like, bumped him, and, like, he was like, oh, and they caught it, of course. And I loved some of the reactions. They were like, oh, he was looking
know,
at
I
her
mean,
butt,
it was
and, like, all this stuff.
completely
and I was like, what?
overshadowed
Yeah.
Yeah,
by the fact that she bumped into someone and he happened to make a face,
right.
which was a shame.
Right. But I loved her speech. I loved that she thanked everybody. And
Good stuff.
yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So
Well deserved win.
Congratulations,
Congrats,
Stephanie.
Gaga.
You know, I'm just talking about her on a personal level. We're just like such good friends.
Hey, girls.
Just kidding. But I mean, I guess let's jump into predictions for next season.
Oh man.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, aside from what Sarah said, which was fewer characters, which I 150% agree with, what would you guys like to see for next season? Any ideas?
The chat is blowing up with a few different ideas.
Okay, let's hear what the chat has to say.
Mostly being either
I'm curious.
urban legends
Oh,
and
like
having
all
it
urban
all
legends?
urban legends, which I would be
Okay.
totally on board
I
for
would be
because
into
I
that
love
too.
the movie Urban Legend.
Love
Yeah,
that movie as
Joshua
well.
Jackson.
Yes, Joshua Jackson and
goodness.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Or have it be set on a cruise ship or a cabin in the woods. Those are the big things that they're pushing. Is either the cabin.
Interesting.
Well, and I've seen a bunch of alien stuff, even though Ryan Murphy said he wasn't going to do that.
I feel like no more aliens. I feel like we got enough of that with Asylum.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want
And-
the aliens. I'm just saying. And
No, it's
Titanic.
too
There's a
much.
lot of Titanic.
I mean, do aliens really
Titanic
fall
and werewolves,
into
which-
the horror theme?
what?
Do aliens fall into a horror theme?
I mean, they do like sci-fi horror. They do.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like
Well, considering he did already use aliens to
and
some
it did
degree.
not work out very well.
no.
Yeah.
It was just
I
kinda
saw
bad.
somebody say prison, but I feel like that's a
prison
little
would be
too much like
interesting.
Asylum.
It would be a lot like
also
Asylum.
very Walking Dead.
Very Walking Dead.
That's
yeah.
true. I mean, what in the horror
Haunted
genre?
University.
Okay.
But I feel like that's just urban legend again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the horror genre hasn't been? Have they not done yet?
They haven't done the cabin.
They haven't done a cabin.
Yeah, but it's a cabin. I mean, it's like, is that enough?
No, that's not enough.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then it would just be like Murder House. Like if there was just ghosts in the cabin, it would be just like Murder House, really. You know?
Yeah.
But I feel like a ship too is too localized and one thing, like
Yeah.
you know, especially for a show that loves bringing in new characters.
Yeah,
How do
how
you
would
bring
they
in
get
new
on?
people?
Like,
They need to
Somebody
just
in a
bring it
rowboat
back
is like,
to basics.
oh hey.
Yes, I agree.
want a simple story like Coven, like where we know we're seeking like all a common goal, you know? Like who was the Supreme? That was what we were waiting till the end to find out, and they gave it to us and you speculated. I liked that. It was clear, concise. They did have a lot of people, but I felt like everyone served a proper purpose.
Agreed.
yeah.
And each storyline enhanced the other storyline.
Right.
They weren't just there to move.
There weren't
Yeah.
a lot of loose ends.
Things
I
along.
can't. I mean, I do want to watch it again now that it's been some time and see what I think.
I liked Coven a lot.
loved it
I
a
mean,
lot.
I know I'm still gonna love it, but I don't remember there being a lot of loose ends.
No.
I don't either. I feel like they tied that one up
Oh.
in a nice little package. Would you just ooh?
A summer camp.
See, that would be fun,
That would be fun.
and they could have a
I
lot
could
of
see.
people as long as they didn't do it freak show style, like with. They just got so. They had so many people.
I feel like what
It's so
happens
many
is
people.
that because of the hype of like what's going to be the next season and like who's going to be the big guest stars and like they sort of get caught up in all of the hype from the fans and like the press and all that stuff that they forget to like try and keep it simple.
Right.
And they try to add too many things. I mean, I'm agreeing 150% with you that I would prefer to see something like a smaller cast list
Right.
with fewer guest stars, and if you're going to have guest stars, like use them to their full capacity.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because it is rumored that Jessica Lange will come
Yes,
back
it is
next
rumored.
season. And Ryan Murphy has asked Gaga, like he asked her on Twitter, to be a part of next season. So
Before this season even
unofficially,
started.
right?
Yeah.
Unofficially. Do you think that they could coexist? Those two
women?
Yeah, I mean, not like personally, yes, of course. But it's two giant
who would be the like
personalities. Yes.
big, strong female lead in
Yes.
the show then.
Right.
I would love to have two different factions, each led by one of them, and have it end, like Coven style, how Angela Bassett had
I
her
love
set
that.
versus,
Right.
have that and have it be Gaga and
I
Jessica
wonder
Lange.
why they were able to do such a good, because even, Kathy Bates had such an epic storyline in there, but I never felt like they were all conflicting. I felt like they were all complementing each other. So I kind of wonder where it got off the rails as far as, I guess it's just because, they veer off in so many different directions, whereas they were all...
I mean, do you think possibly at this point, at this stage in the game, they're trying to create a show that's too formulaic, and that's where they're falling against the waysides?
Maybe.
That they're like, oh, well, this worked in previous seasons. If we have like a big guest star show up for one episode, it boosts our ratings. Let's throw this big actor in here.
Probably.
Maybe.
You have to keep it fun. And I know that a lot of the fans do like the whole tie-ins and everything's
Yeah.
related. To me, like, I try, 2016, I'm trying not to overthink things. And
like that.
that is a big overthinking thing to me, is how they're all connected.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're never going to
Yes.
explain that, but they're just going to throw in all kinds of things. So I'm just like, I would prefer to think that they are all separate stories.
Going
and
forward.
not connected.
That way.
And not connected.
Michael
it's fine.
Claridge in the chat said that Ryan Murphy said that the clue for next season was in season 1, and that it was his idea before Murder House is going to be what they do this season, which
Great.
could be anything. But I like
Yeah.
Dashi 009 says the 4 women of the apocalypse, which I'm on board with you, Dashi. I like it.
I wouldn't be mad at a female-centered season again,
Like another
like
Coven.
Coven.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I mean, going with the way they've run their seasons, past and then present, past then present, past then present. I mean, next season will take place in the past.
I would love like period piece costumes and accents, and
yeah, that would be
even
fun.
like maybe the way it's shot a little
Period
grainy.
piece summer
Grainy.
camp.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything.
the
It
sleepaway
really
camp
could-
is my favorite idea so far.
Yeah,
agree.
Somebody said that they might do a second season of Scream Queens, though, and have it be summer camp.
Oh, they
But
are
I
going to do
haven't-
a second season of Scream Queens.
Right, but I don't know if it's going to be summer camp.
No.
But if they do,
know
then they
yet.
wouldn't repeat it.
No.
That storyline sort of does make more sense for Scream Queens,
It
to
does.
be honest.
Yeah.
And
I could.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, it was something totally separate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, since it is Ryan Murphy, I could see it all being in one pitch meeting and him going, no, I'm going to take this and use it for a different show.
That
Sorry,
would make
yeah.
more sense.
I do agree. As much as I love Emma Roberts on Scream Queens, I do miss her on American Horror Story, and I hope
do.
that she is back for.
I would like to see Emma Roberts
She can
return
do both.
as
Come
well.
on.
She can do both.
Sarah Paulson did American Crime Story, and she played 2 characters
Yes.
on this show.
So Emma Roberts can do it.
Busy woman.
We believe in you, Emma.
Yeah. By the way, I have seen American Crime Story, and it is killer, literally.
So when that
pun
premieres,
intended.
you guys,
Yeah, you
make
guys
sure to
have
catch
to watch
that.
it. It's definitely very different, and it might not bring in the same audience, but everyone kills it. It was incredible. So,
Well, before
not that
we
you
wrap
hated
up, you guys, does anyone else have anything left to say?
No.
No.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
I'm gonna miss you guys as well. Where can everyone keep in touch with you?
You can find me on all social media at Pegah Rad. Please keep in touch. It's gonna be a while.
You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan, ALANA JORDAN, and on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl. And stick around. Up next, I'll be on Face Off.
Busy girl.
Working girl, it's late. I am at Sarah on the Go on Twitter, Sarah with an H, and at SarahBear627 on Instagram.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at You Can Call Me Skiff with the letter U and spelled out SKIFF. From everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV family, we want to say thank you for joining us this season of American Horror Story. And we will see you guys soon, hopefully, but probably not till next year. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.